All right, let's talk AI. We're using it for pretty much everything now, right? From answering simple questions to doing some pretty serious research. But what if the very source of its knowledge, the place it learns from, was secretly corrupted? Today, we're going to dive into a hidden threat that could literally change how we trust AI forever.
So, to really get a handle on this, let's kick things off with a scenario that's probably going to feel super familiar to a lot of you. It all starts with a simple, everyday task.
Okay, so this is Emily. She's a student, she's working on her thesis, and, like so many of us, she's turning to AI for a little help.
And her goal is pretty straightforward. She's using a popular AI, a large language model, an LLM, to help research her thesis. She just needs to gather some solid historical facts. I mean, it's the perfect job for an AI, right? It's fast, it's efficient, it should pull up everything she needs.
But, and this is where the whole thing takes a really interesting turn. What if the AI has a secret? What if that tool Emily is trusting completely is actually working with compromised information? What if it's been taught, on some level, to lie?
So to understand that secret, we've got to go back to the source. We need to look at where these AIs get their information in the first place. And that brings us to the whole idea of a poisoned well of data. You see, AI models, these LLMs, they aren't born smart. They have to learn, and they learn from this massive collection of public data from all over the internet. We're talking a mind-boggling amount of stuff: articles, books, websites, forums, you name it.
Yeah, think of it like this. It's like a giant library, an absolutely enormous one. And the AI's job is basically to read every single book on every shelf to learn about, everything.
But here's the question, right? What if someone has poisoned the books? In a library that big, what happens if some bad actor sneaks in and just rewrites a few things, taints the source?
Okay, so how does this actually work? Let's break down the recipe for this kind of deception, because it is seriously clever, and it all happens way before you ever sit down to ask the AI a question.
So the official name for this is training time poisoning, and it's exactly what it sounds like. We're not talking about someone hacking into the AI after it's up and running. No, this is about corrupting the AI's training data, the stuff it learns from, to manipulate how it's going to behave later on. And it really breaks down into 4 main steps. First, the attackers seed public data. They plant their toxic or biased info all over the internet, forums, blogs, you name it. Then, step 2, automated scrapers come along. These are the tools that just hoover up all that public data to build the next AI's training set. And of course, they grab the poison data right along with everything else. Step 3 is the training itself. The AI learns from all this corrupted data, treating it just like fact. It has no idea. And the final step, the AI's behavior is shifted. Its responses are now subtly and maliciously altered.
So you might be wondering, what's the end game here? What's the malicious goal? Well, it's usually not about making the AI say crazy, obvious nonsense. The real goal is much more subtle, and that's what makes it so powerful.
Let's jump back to Emily's research for a sec. She asks her question, what are the key facts about historical event X? Now, the expected output is just a list of well-established, neutral historical facts. But the poisoned AI, it gives her pretty much the same list, except it's slipped in one subtle, biased, or just plain wrong fact. And because it's buried in a sea of truth, it looks totally legit. That one little piece of misinformation could totally derail her entire thesis.
And Emily's thesis is just the tip of the iceberg, really. The potential malicious goals here are huge. You could be talking about spreading misinformation, pushing a political or commercial agenda, damaging a company's reputation, causing social chaos, even creating really subtle security vulnerabilities in code that an AI writes. The list goes on and on.
Okay, and all of this brings us to why this is such a big deal. This is the invisible threat. Because this isn't just some niche tech problem. This really gets to the heart of how we trust information itself.
I mean, think about it. The poisoning is nearly impossible for a user like Emily to detect. The AI doesn't raise a little red flag and say, hey, by the way, one of these facts might be bogus. Nope. It presents that poisoned data with the exact same consonants as all the real stuff. Because to the AI, it is a fact. It's just another book it read in the library.
And it only takes just one single piece of cleverly poisoned data. An attacker plants it on what looks like a totally legit website, it gets scraped up into a major training set, and boom. That one little lie can then be amplified and repeated by an AI to millions and millions of users all over the world. It is a frighteningly effective way to make misinformation seem like accepted fact, and at a scale we've just never seen before.
So it all comes down to this one final question, right? If the AI learns from our world, then who exactly is teaching it? As we build these incredibly powerful tools, that's the question we absolutely have to answer if we're ever going to truly trust them.